Hi, it's Anthony. This is the fourth video I've done based on my top-level code prototype, and I'm very excited about this scenario in particular because it shows how the proposed feature could be a big win for professional VB developers interested in web development. Let's dive right in. I know it may not look like it at first, but this is just an ordinary VB file. I've modified the prototype to allow an XML literal as a top-level expression. It doesn't have to be the only thing in the file, but, similar to some functional languages, the compiler will treat the last expression in the file as the return value of a function. And as you can see here, this function returns an X node. Being an XML literal, I can intermix markup and complex VB expressions seamlessly while building up the document. I've also added a compiler option to specify a default base class for files that use top-level code, and that's where names such as the viewData property come from. This experience is very much inspired by Razor views, and is in fact built on top of the same MVC infrastructure, as we'll soon see. Let me give you the tour. This project is just an ordinary ASP.NET Core 2.0 web app. It uses typical MVC routing and has a controller class. My controller inherits a custom base class, but that base class just inherits the same controller class that ships with ASP.NET Core 2.0 and adds some helpers to understand the views that I'm using. Now, let's take a look at the views. Let's look at the About view. It's similar to Index, but has different content. There is some duplication between it and other pages on my site, but it also lacks some of the common layout features that I want all the pages on my site to have, namely navigation links. Luckily, I've already created another view that captures those elements, the middle content page, which is a view like Index and About, except that it defines this overridable getContent function which it calls from within its markup. I've decorated this function with the default override method attribute, which tells the compiler that any top-level code that inherits from this type should override this method instead of the render method. I already have a page which uses this approach, so let's refactor the About page to do the same. First, I isolate the content that's going to be different, and instead of returning an HTML node, I'm going to return a div, and I'm going to put my content there. Then I add an inherit statement and say I want to inherit middle content page. With that, the navigation bar updates to let me know that I'm overriding the getContent method instead of the render method. But there's still another bug in my application. Let's take a look at that. If we go back to our middle content page, you'll see that it does have the navigation links that I want, but the bug is that they're different from what's in the index page. I could solve this by copying and pasting, or I could again use inheritance, but this time, maybe my index page is a one-off. I still want to get the most reuse that I can, and I want to use composition instead of inheritance. So what I'm going to do is define yet another new view that captures these common elements. I'm going to call this navlinks. And in here, instead of all of that, I'm going to take this code and I'm going to put what's called a nav element. I'm going to grab these links from this page and I'm going to put them over here. This has now defined a view called navlinks. Then I go back to my index page, and instead of doing this, I make an embedded expression that calls render section. And since this is just a regular type, I can say navlinks here. Then let's say I want to go to my middle content page, and I'll put those same navlinks in below my content, but then I also decide later that I want it to also go above my content. Now let's run that and see how the site looks. So as you can see here, I have the home page with the expected navigation links. The About page has those same navigation links at the bottom and at the top, and is consistent with the Contact page, which has those same links in the same positions. My site is consistent and correct. So you've seen me use the proposed top-level code feature to write an XHTML view using VB XML literals. You've seen me reuse a common look and feel across multiple views using traditional inheritance techniques, and now you've seen me reuse common functionality via composition. All of this using VB's built-in templating capabilities with XML literals and embedded expressions, in combination with the top-level code prototype, and what's already available in ASP.NET Core 2.0. I really want to hear what you think about this approach. Be sure to check out my follow-up blog post to this video and other links and info in the description below. As always, please share this video with your friends and loved ones. Thanks for watching and have a great day.